thought 66 was just a number until I drove it, not drove past it. Drove it, as in a road, as in a route, as in the kind of highway that doesn't appear on any map, but somehow exists underneath every highway you've ever traveled. I found it on a Thursday night, which is already a strange time to find anything important. Thursdays are transitional. They don't have the desperation of a Monday or the hope of a Friday. They're just there, like a door that's been left ajar in a house you thought was empty. I was coming back from a funeral. My aunt's. She was 82 and had been dead for 3 years, but the family only just found the body. She'd been a recluse, lived in a house at the end of a dirt road that no one bothered to check. When the mail carrier finally noticed the pileup of flyers and coupons, the police broke down the door and found her in bed, mummified, dried out. Her skin had the texture of old parchment, and her eyes were still open. The medical examiner said she'd died of natural causes. Heart just stopped, but the look on her face wasn't peaceful. It was surprised, like she'd seen something she wasn't expecting. I was thinking about that face when I missed my exit. The GPS had been acting up all day, rerouting me through towns I'd never heard of, telling me to turn left onto roads that were just cornfields. I turned it off and tried to navigate by memory. Big mistake. Memory lies. Especially at night, the road I ended up on was narrow. 2 lanes, no shoulder, no streetlights. The asphalt was old and patched, the kind of surface that makes your tires hum a low, mournful song. I drove for about 20 minutes without seeing another car. The fields on either side had given way to woods, dense woods, the kind where the trees lean toward the road as if trying to whisper something. That's when I saw the sign. It was green, like a standard highway sign, but the letters were wrong. They were too sharp, too black, and they didn't just say words. They seemed to cut into the air around them. The sign read, Route 66, 1 mile. I frowned. Route 66 is a historic highway, sure, but it was decommissioned decades ago. And I wasn't anywhere near the Midwest. I was in upstate New York. There's no Route 66 here. I checked my phone. No signal. The GPS was still off. I slowed down, peering through the windshield at the dark tunnel of trees ahead. A mile later, I saw the road. It wasn't a road. Not really. It was a seam, a crack in the world. The asphalt was too smooth, like glass, and it gleamed under my headlights with a wet, oily sheen. There were no lines painted on it, no reflectors, no guardrails. Just an endless, curving ribbon of black that disappeared into a darkness so complete it looked solid. I should have turned around. Every instinct told me to turn around, but my aunt's face was still in my mind, those open eyes. That surprise. I wanted to understand what she'd seen, and something about that road promised answers. I turned onto Route 66. The hum of my tires changed. It deepened, became less of a hum and more of a vibration. I could feel it in my seat, in my steering wheel, in my teeth. I glanced at my speedometer. I was going exactly 66 miles per hour. I hadn't set the cruise control. I hadn't touched the accelerator. But the needle was pinned at 66, and no matter how much I pressed the brake, it didn't budge. I pressed harder. Nothing. The car kept moving. The road kept unspooling. The trees on either side became a blur, not because I was going fast, because they were blurry. Their edges were soft, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. I blinked. The blurriness spread to the road ahead. The world was losing its focus, becoming impressionistic, and then I saw the first number. It was painted on the asphalt. 6 feet tall, white, the numeral 66. I drove over it. The car shuddered. The vibration in my teeth spiked. I looked in my rearview mirror. The number was still there, but it was different now. It had changed from white to red, and it was bleeding, not figuratively. The paint was running, pooling, dripping off the edges of the road into the darkness on either side. I looked forward again. Another 66, then another, then another. The entire road was covered in them. Thousands of 6s and 6s, painted end to end, overlapping, bleeding into each other. The car drove over them, and each time it did, the vibration grew stronger. My vision started to pulse, in rhythm with the numbers. 66, pulse 66. Pulse, I closed my eyes. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe, or cowardice. When I opened them, the road was gone. I was in a parking lot, a gravel lot, surrounded by nothing but fog, and in front of me, lit by a single buzzing streetlight, was a building. Long, low, stucco, a motel. The sign on the roof said 66 in neon tubes that flickered and spat. The car had stopped. The engine was off. The keys were in my hand. I don't remember taking them out of the ignition. I looked at my watch. 6:66. That's not a real time. The watch face said 6:66. The numbers were red. The second hand was spinning backward. I got out of the car. The gravel crunched under my shoes like small bones. The air smelled of ozone and something sweet. The same sweet smell from my aunt's house. The one they said was just the smell of old age and neglect. But I knew better now. It was the smell of something waiting. I walked to the motel office. The door was glass, but I couldn't see inside, just my own reflection. Except my reflection was wrong. Was wearing different clothes. A gray suit I'd never owned. And it was smiling. I don't smile. Not like that. That smile had too many teeth. I pushed the door open. The office was empty. A counter, a bell, a registry book. I opened the book. The pages were blank except for one. Toward the back, someone had written a single entry, my aunt's name, and next to it, in the column for room number 66, I closed the book. The bell on the counter rang by itself. I looked up. A man was standing behind the counter. He hadn't been there a second ago. He was tall, thin. His skin was the color of old teeth, and he had no eyes, just smooth sockets. But he was looking at me. I could feel it. Room 66, he said. His voice was the vibration from the road. Deep, resonant. You asked for it. I didn't ask for anything. He smiled. His mouth was a straight line, no curve, no warmth. You drove the road, that's asking. Everyone who drives the road gets a room. 66 rooms, 66 guests. And when the last room is filled, the road will open. The other side will come through. I asked what was on the other side. He pointed to the door behind me. I turned. The door was still glass, but my reflection had changed again. It was my aunt now, dried, mummified, eyes open, surprised. And behind her, in the darkness of the parking lot, I saw other shapes, other people. All of them standing in rows, all of them facing the motel, all of them wearing the same expression. 66 is a mirror, the man said. It reflects what you lost, your aunt, your childhood, your sense of a world that makes sense. And when you've lost 66 things, the mirror stops reflecting. It becomes a door. I ran out of the office, across the gravel, to my car. The keys were still in my hand. I got in, locked the doors, and tried to start the engine. Nothing. The battery was dead. The lights were dead. The only thing that worked was the radio. It was on. Static, and beneath the static, a voice. My aunt's voice. 66 isn't the room number, sweetheart. It's the number of times I've watched you drive this road. You've been here before. You'll be here again. And each time, you lose a little more of yourself. Look at your hands. I looked. My hands were gray, not my skin, something under my skin. A grayness spreading from my fingertips toward my wrists, the same gray as my aunt's mummified flesh. What is this? I whispered. The radio crackled. You're becoming a room, room 66. And when you're finished, someone else will drive the road. Someone else will check in, and you'll be behind the counter. No eyes, no smile, just the waiting. I threw the car door open and ran into the fog. I didn't look back. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. I collapsed onto gravel that turned to asphalt, that turned to dirt, that turned to grass. When I opened my eyes, I was in a field, a familiar field. The one behind my aunt's house. The house was still there, boarded up, condemned. But the front door was open. I walked inside. The smell was stronger now, the sweet, wrong smell. I went to her bedroom. The bed was empty. The sheets were fresh, and on the nightstand, next to a lamp that was still on, was a key. Brass, diamond-shaped fob, the number 66. I took the key. I don't know why. I walked out of the house. I got into my car, which was now parked in the driveway, engine running, GPS glowing. 6 said Route 66. ETA 6 minutes. I drove home. I didn't take any back roads. I stayed on highways and interstates. I didn't see the number 66 again for 3 weeks. Then I found it on a receipt. A total of $6.66. I paid in cash and left the chains plate. 66X4X6. I looked away. I found it in my dreams. Every night. The motel, the counter, the man with no eyes, and every night I was a little closer to the desk, a little closer to taking his place. Last night I woke up with gravel in my shoes. I hadn't worn shoes to bed. But there it was, small white stones, crushed bone, and on my nightstand a new key. The old one had vanished. This one was different. The fob was made of skin, human skin, my aunt's skin. I could tell by the liver spots. I'm writing this because I've figured out the truth about 66. It's not a curse, it's not a ghost, it's a position, a job. Someone has to stand behind that counter. Someone has to hand out the keys. Someone has to watch the road and wait for the next driver. My aunt did it for 3 years. The man with no eyes did it before her. And now it's my turn. But I don't have to do it alone. That's the thing about a mirror. It needs 2 sides. When you read this, you'll become the reflection. You'll see the number 66 in your peripheral vision, on your clock, on your phone, on the bottom of a coffee cup. And each time you see it, you'll lose a little more of yourself. Until one night you'll be driving home from a funeral. You'll miss your exit. You'll see a road that shouldn't exist. And I'll be there, behind the counter. No eyes, no smile. Just a key in my hand and a room with your name on it. Check your hands. Are they gray yet? Not the skin. The thing under the skin. Check your rearview mirror. Is the road behind you the same as the road ahead? Count to 66. I'll wait. 1, 2, 3. Feel the vibration? That's me, walking towards you, across the gravel, across the bones, across the space between what's real and what's a road. 66. Check in. The room is ready, and you've already paid.